Hello, everybody. This is Greg29407 back with another episode of City of Heroes. Well, here we are with a blaster character that I've got. His name is Cusabo Chief, and he is an archery, a tactical arrow blaster. And this is a character I had for many years. Back in the day, I created him as a defender. He was a trick arrow archery defender. The only defender I was ever actually able to play because he did some pretty decent damage and he wasn't like all support. When the new game came out a few months ago, I said I'd like to recreate this character, but I said maybe I'll do him as a corruptor. Then I found out that blasters have not trick arrow but tactical arrow. I said, well, that's close enough. Let's go with that. So I made a blaster, and he's been a lot of fun to play. I've got him up to level 29 right now, and what I want to do is go over his basic powers, what I'm doing with him, what I'm planning on doing with him, and take him out on a mission or two to see how everything works out. He is an archery character. There are a lot of different types of archery characters you can have in the game. Of course, the standard ones are like a Robin Hood type. You can do a Hunger Games type character. Back in the original game, I had an archery character, blaster, who was a redneck crossbow hunter from Alabama, and he was a good amount of fun. I think his secondary was energy or something like that. But in this case, I made Cusabo Chief. He's actually based on the Cusabo Confederation of Native American tribes from Charleston, South Carolina, about 300 years ago. And so he's based on them. And so what I've got here is on the powers. Archery powers are kind of self-explanatory. They're not that difficult to go over. Snapshot is your first power you get. It's a little weak. It's minor damage. If you find that this is a tight build, and it's really not. It's not very tight at all. But if you decide you want to get rid of one, this is probably the one you would want to drop out. Starting off is really good to have, but when you get a little higher level, you probably don't need it that much. Aim shot, again, it's higher damage, and this is your bread and butter power you're going to be using all the way through. It's really good. Fistful of Arrows shoots a pretty wide cone, and this does decent amount of damage to a wide range of enemies. A lot of times if you're on a team, that's a good way to getting things started. Blazing Arrow is high damage and it's fire. So it does lethal and fire damage, and this is your big shot. This is a lot of times you're gonna go after the lieutenants on this one. This does a big amount of damage really quick, and it's really going to be your finisher a lot of the times. Then we have Aim, which of course you want to get for the 2 hit and plus damage. Explosive Arrow sounds fantastic, and it is good. It's an AOE, but the damage itself isn't huge on anyone. It does decent amount of damage. It knocks everyone back, and it knocks them off their feet, which is really important. But it does okay damage on them. This is a great power to use if you're on a team. In fact, I use this all the time on teams. I do a lot of teaming on this character as well. So this is a bread and butter power for teams. For solo, it's not that great, to be honest with you. All you do is tick people off and scatter things. You can use it if you need it because it will do some decent damage, but generally it's not going to be my first choice on that. Range shot is what I got just a level ago. It's kind of your sniper attack, and I'm just starting to get that leveled up with damage. Even with 1 damage in it, was pretty good. So I just now got 2 more damages in there, so it should be fully operational and ready to go. The next one is a stunning shot. It's a stun. I'm planning on skipping this one, although this is a good power to get because it does do stun. So it's a nice control power, but since I'm playing a blaster and I got all these other attack powers, I've got some decent control over on the tactical arrow. I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. And then range of arrows, which we get at level 32. That's going to be extreme damage, and it's the big AOE one that you just fire off, and it just does massive damage. I'm looking forward to getting that. For tactical arrow, this is not the same as trick arrow. They have some changes. Some of the powers are the same, like glue arrow and ice arrow and things, but sadly this does not have oil slick arrow, which was always kind of fun, where you shoot someone with a giant oil slick and then set on fire with blazing arrow and burn everyone up. But this tactical arrow things changes those out for a lot of really incredible powers. This is a great, great power set. So I start off with not just net arrow, but electrified net arrow. This is immobilize. It does some damage. You don't want to slot it for damage though, because it's not that much. But it also will bring down flyers and stuff. It's really good for immobilization, and you can get some high enemies with this when a hold will be a little harder to get. Glue arrow I use all the time. Shoots out a big area of glue stuff, and it slows everyone down. So a lot of times it'll keep the enemy away from me, because they're always going to run right towards you for melee attacks. And if they get stuck in the glue, they start running really slow, and you have more time to attack with your other arrow powers. Ice arrow is our single target hold. I use this a lot on targets. A lot of times lieutenants it works great on. Bosses is a little harder to get. Between this and the net arrow, you can kind of get them away from you, but it's a little iffy on terms of high level targets. Upshot is another version of aim. We're going to get plus damage, plus to hit, and also plus recharge. So that's really good. I'll be getting that soon. Flash arrow is one that I'm skipping. It's not that it's not a good power. It's just that I got to skip something. You know, I don't want to take all of it. This is a AOE. And what you do is you shoot this, and it flashes, lights in everyone's eyes, and it makes they can't see you, and there are 2 hit drops and stuff like that. So again, it's another good control power. But again, I'm focusing this character more on full damage. Flash arrow and stunning shot would be a great combination. For doing more control stuff. If you want to do a little bit more control things, this is a great one to have. Here, look at this thing, Eagle Eye. This is an amazing power. This is a toggle. Got it on right down here. And this sucker is amazing. It increases your accuracy, your perception. It gives you plus regeneration, plus recovery. It's great on everything. It's just really amazing. I'm slotting this. I'll show you that in a few minutes. I'm going to slot it with health and with endurance modification. It helps out with your green bar and your blue bar. It's terrific. Next is the auto power agility. This is going to speed up my recharge and my speed. And I just got this last night, so I haven't really done anything with this. It's just going to always be there. Next, we're going to be getting the ESD arrow. This is AoE hold, and also does special damage against robots, apparently. So I'll be taking that one at 35 when it's available. And then finally, Gymnastics, which, again, is a toggle. It makes you jump better. It gives you defense to everything, resistance to mobilization and hold and stun and knockback. So, holy cow, this is fantastic. This kind of gives you a lot of the things that like scrappers have in terms of not getting knocked down and held and that kind of stuff, and plus defense. So that's pretty amazing. So let me show you. I've got these things slotted up. Of course, the archery powers are they have somewhat better aim anyway, so we only have 1 accuracy in these things, which saves up some space. Electrified net arrow, I'm going to get a second accuracy there because I am using it, but it sometimes has a hard time. Blue arrow, a couple of recharges to keep it coming up. Ice arrow is I got a hold and an endurance in there. This eagle eye thing, look at this. I got 1 health and 1 endurance modification in it so far. I'm going to add another 1 of each one of those. Agility is fine. Oh, I've also taken I'm taking the fighting pool to get tough. I've got that already with 1 slot up, and I'll be getting weave as well to help with damage resistance and defense. Let me show you this. So here's my regeneration rate. I get my base and I get my health. Eagle Eye, look at that, 0.62 and 0.47. So 1.1 of my regeneration comes from Eagle Eye, and that's just the one health slot on it. Recovery rate is 3.57%, which is pretty decent. Stamina gives me 0.8. Eagle Eye gives me 1.1. Again, with 1 slot in it. I got stamina 3 slotted. So Eagle Eye is like incredible. It's like the jewel of this entire secondary. I'm not sure what they were thinking with that. Accuracy bonus, 1.2 from Eagle Eye. Here's my recharge time. My recharge is up 20% because of agility with that one slot thing in there. Perception radius, plus 300 feet from Eagle Eye. Holy smokes. That's incredible. Now, in terms of what I've got for damage resistance right now, I've got tough on, so it's only 12.769, so I'm going to be getting slide that up some more. And for my epic, I always forget what they call those things. You can start getting at 35 now, but it used to be at 41. Not the epic archetype, it's the epic power sets, power pools. Yeah, epic power pools. I'm going to be getting the electric one, so I'm going to also get charged armor, which also gives me damage resistance. So I'm going to have a lot more damage resistance to smashing and lethal, as well as some energy too. So I'll have some of that just to help out. I'm not going to make myself, as a blaster, maxed out to damage resistance or defense, but I do want him to have some resistance. Good heavens. Nothing for defense yet. I'm going to be getting weave, and then heck, what was the other thing? Anyway, I'm getting something. Oh, gymnastics. That was going to give me a little something there too. So I'll have a little something for both of those. So anyway, this guy's an archer. He shoots a lot of arrows, and I also, when I set the character up, I did him for the no redraw. So that would help us out with. He's not always trying to pull out his bow and do stuff and everything else. It saves a little bit of time on that. So let's go ahead and do a mission. Let's see if we can get a basic mission here. What do we got? Banished Pantheon, the Lost, and Banished Pantheon. I guess you go with Banished Pantheon. All right, let's see what we got on these guys. Oh. Okay, it's a long way away, so I'm going to put this on hold while I'm not going to fly 2 miles away. I'm going to go to the other tram station down there. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're coming in for a landing here. We're down at the very bottom of this map, so about as far as you can go almost. Now, a lot of times I like to use a hover on these kind of characters, but since we're in purple caves, I guess I won't be using hover. We went into a factory, didn't we? Why in the world are the factory open up to purple caves? Anyway, so we're fighting Banished Pantheon. A lot of times, again, I do like to use hover on blasters and characters like that, just because I want to keep them out of the fray, but we'll kind of play this as we go. All right, Death Shame. We want to finish this guy off first. So let's see. We got a lot of good powers here. Let's go ahead and get started with Blazing Arrow. Oh, I should have started with my ranged arrow. And again, some of these things are kind of difficult to play. Like Blue Arrow. And then some of this character are pretty simple. You just shoot arrows at them until they die. That blazing arrow is a big help. Has a dead end. Let's see this tunnel down here. I wonder if this is going to end up in that 5-level round room. Let's start out. I'm going to do my aim and my range shot. See how strong the sniper is. Bad. There we go. Very nice. This probably goes back to the other tunnel we were just in. Yep. There's probably going to be another loop. Range shot. This electrified net. There we go. It does a little bit of damage there. Not bad at all. Just loop back again. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Oops. use my explosive arrow. Doesn't do that much. Ooh, I didn't kill this guy. Oops. Ouch. Here's where it loops back. Okay. There's no reason for me to continue these, but I just kind of map the whole map out for some stupid reason. And here we have the 5-level purple room. All right. Well, at least I can use hover. Okay. So I'm gonna let's go ahead and test out our ice arrow too on this during this map as well. First of all, let's finish this death shame. I'm gonna use the aim and the range shot. I think he's always gonna get his 2 helpers off no matter what. See, this snapshot is nice. It's a nice little finisher if you have someone with a sliver of life. Okay, let's go ahead and use the ice arrow on this guy and see what that looks like. There you go. He's frozen. I do like ice arrow quite a bit. It's mainly the best when you're solo like this. You just need to stop one person. You got a little too many to juggle. You can put an immediate stop on somebody. And it comes up pretty quick too. Oh. There we go. All right, I guess we'll start headed down here. Let's do aim and range shot. Use explosive shot. It knocks it back. Does a little bit of helps out some. Not as much as a solo as it does for group stuff. For group stuff, a lot of times what I'll do is I will start off with glue arrow. We have a bunch of other players and everything. I'll use glue arrow to stop a whole team of enemies to keep them away from our group so that my teammates can run in and attack as needed, but we're not going to be attacked by them. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start off with a fistful of arrows. I use explosive arrow. Those are my 2, AoE damaging stuff. I'll focus on a high-level guy and start using my range shot and my blazing arrow, that kind of thing, and mainly stay in the background and try to do as much damage as possible. So the good thing about glue arrow too is it does do slows down speed and recharge. So let me go ahead, hit this guy with my range shot first. This is the boss man. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that wasn't much. I guess I didn't need really a plan for that. All right. Well, that was a little simpler. Let's go up another level. Get 2 more levels to finish off here. Let's ice this guy up. hear somebody up here. Oops. Uh-oh. Let's move these guys down. Let's let him up. There we go. And then the other dude is right there. Nice. All right, so I don't play a lot of blasters. I used to play a lot more blasters than I do now. Blasters are now easier to play than they were before. And when I say easier, I don't mean they do bigger damage, because they've always done good damage, but I think they're easier to get through without dying very often, because you do have access to a little bit more powers and that kind of thing. And they've made it so that blasters are not as glass cannon-y as they were before. This particular character I really like a lot. As you can see, there's no irritating noises as he shoots blasts from his fists or anything like that. You know, energy damage is strong, but after a while, you just get tired of the noise, or sonic attacks or anything like that. It's very nice and quiet. Shoots a bow and arrow. Very pleasant, very easy. I like playing this character. Sometimes I just do solo missions like that, where it's kind of a little bit more relaxing. Just kind of go through, kill bad guys, and move on. As you can see, there's not a lot of, oh, I need a strategy of this or this or this or this. It's shoot arrows until people die, which is nice. It's a quiet, more relaxing way of going. Very fun character. I think I'm gonna keep taking him up. I've got him up to, I think he's got like 12 million in influence right now. I boosted all my characters up, so I've got enough to buy all the slotting that I need. Haven't started planning for enhancement sets yet. I'll worry about that as I get a little farther in. But again, he's one of these characters that leveled up to 29 kind of by surprise. I thought, oh boy, he's getting up there, isn't he, for me? A lot of my characters, I get into the low 20s. Oh, it's kind of a struggle. Oh, okay, I got to get him up higher. This character, it's like, oh yeah, he got another level. Great. Okay, this is good. So it's a very relaxing, a little bit easier character to play. So until next time, this is Greg29407, along with Cusabo Chief, saying arrivederci, and we will see you next time.